Let's turn now to CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst John Miller, former CIA counterterrorism official and former FBI Senior Intelligence Advisor Phil Mudd, and trial attorney Misty Marris. Phil, let me start with you. Explain the significance, if you would, of the terrorism aspect of these charges.
This is certainly very significant because in New York, there's a very...
Sorry, Phil, to you first, and Misty, I'll come up to you in a sec. Phil, go ahead.
Okay. I think this might be a surprise to a lot of your viewers, but to a counterterrorism expert, it is not. I realize this looks like murder. It is murder, but let me step through quickly the couple of questions you would ask as a counterterrorism guy. And as a counterterrorism guy, I'll tell you, the U.S. government, when we categorize cases, I don't think this case would be that difficult. One, is it an attack against a non-combatant? That is, not against somebody in a military uniform, not against somebody in Iraq or Afghanistan, somebody who is basically a civilian in a non-combat role. Obviously, yes, this is a corporate leader. Second, is there a political purpose? Clearly, yes. This is not about economics. This is not about hate. This is not about love. This is not about drugs. This is about changing the political dialogue in America about access to health care in this country. So those two characteristics, a non-combatant target for a political purpose, that's a clear yes to me, Jake.
Misty, go ahead.
So here's where the prosecutors actually take on a challenge. In general, in a courtroom, a prosecutor does not have to prove motive in order to prove their case. But with this enhancement, the terrorism charges, motive becomes very central and becomes an element that prosecutors have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Not to say they can't here. Clearly, what we know from the public perspective, there's a manifesto. Much of the case is going to be based on what we saw in there. These are parasites. This had to be done. That all speaks to the broader purpose, and that could be enough to get this into this enhanced Murder One statute.
And Misty, while I have you, let's pick up on something Shimon was talking about. I want to play what Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg said earlier about getting a fair and impartial jury.
We have a voir process in place. I have faith in our jury system to select 12 people who can be fair and impartial, but we'll move forward, and that's something well down the road, but we'll be ready when that time comes.
So there was a nationwide manhunt. There were pictures of the suspect posted everywhere. Do you think Mangione can get a fair jury trial in New York?
So there's a couple of issues that will be of concern, and one of them will be jury nullification. That would be where a juror might, for a public policy reason, find someone not guilty where they truly believe they're guilty. So that's one issue prosecutors will be contending with. Another is individuals who may want to get on this jury because of how high profile it is. And then, Jake, to your point, this really impacted New Yorkers, the individuals who are going to be on this jury commuting to work when we see this video that happened right in Midtown Manhattan. So that voir dire process is going to be stringent, much like we've seen in other cases. It's not people who don't know about the case. It's people that can come into that courtroom being impartial.
And John Miller, now that the charges have been filed, does that mean law enforcement is basically done with their investigation, or are they going to keep going and we might expect additional charges?
Oh, not in the slightest bit, Jake. I mean, when you consider the idea that this murder happened the week before last, that the arrest happened on Monday, that this is not even 2 weeks old, really, that's lightning pace for a case of this level of seriousness with a first-degree murder charge. So, no, the investigation is most definitely ongoing, and that includes everything from the video canvas continues to kind of complete that movie that they hope to make that contains almost his every move since he's been in the city, though the computer exploitation from the laptop that they seized from him in the process of his arrest in Pennsylvania, that's a forensic thing that's going to go on for a while. The DNA matches that are still at the medical examiner's office. So a lot left to do, but the indictment was a key move to get him back to New York, to start the process of turning over the evidence they do have in discovery, but the case very much still going.
And Phil, we heard the New York Police Commissioner strongly criticize those who were celebrating Mangione's actions with the celebrating an assassination, as well as those threatening other CEOs. Do you think there's a legitimate risk, a heightened risk of some kind of copycat?
Yes, you see this in cases, the cases I followed, for a simple reason, and that is emotion. There might be a lot of people, and we know in this case in the insurance industry, there are a lot of people unhappy in America. If you take 1/100th of 1% of 330, 340 million people, that's still a lot of angry people, however you want to come up with that number. So the question is, once some of those people who may be inclined toward an act of violence see someone else do it, they may look in the mirror and say, if he has the courage to do it, why not me? It's not just copycat. It's the ability after a moment like this to get over the emotional cliff to say, I can do it too. I'd worry about that a lot, Jake.
Thanks to all of you. The other major story we're